The Jakes have 5 children, boys. Both of their names start with a J. One is light skin, one is dark skin. I've seen both of the sons. I've met one of them in particular, talk with him. Um, and so the boys, and there's Cora and Sarah, then there's Dexter, who's now a grown man. Now, at the time my mentor was connected to the ministry, Sarita had had Dexter a little bit before they left West Virginia and came to Dallas. So Dexter basically grew up in Dallas. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yes, it is true that the two older sons are gay. But before I talk more about that, and I'll tell you something that my mentor told me about that, um, the two older sons are not his biologically. They're not the sons of Jake's. Both of the sons are gay. They are. And I don't say that as a dig. I don't say that to shame them. I'm just telling you the facts, okay? Now, the sons, one is darker skinned. The darker skinned son is the one who was caught in Keys Park many years ago. My mentor was a part of that scandal. When I say she was a part of it, I mean she was a member of his church at that time. It was on the news, Channel 8 News down there in Dallas. It was a mess. I mean, that too was a devastation for her. But the son, the darker skinned son, was the one caught in Keys Park. Keys Park is on Keys Boulevard there in Dallas. And it's about 15 minutes from the church, okay? So now, those two sons, they are not the biological children of Thomas, okay? When before Sarita was a teen mom, okay? She had both of the boys when she was a young woman. And sometime later, I don't know if it was years, I don't know the time frame of between her having and her meeting Thomas. That part of their story, I don't know. But one of the great things that made her fall in love with Thomas was that he accepted her 2 boys. And yes, he did later adopt them. So he's the man that raised them, because I don't know anything about their biological father, y'all. I don't know who he is. That's the part I can't say. But yes, and again, as I shared with you on part 1, I'm not worried about being sued. I'm not. I have seen both the sons. I've talked with one of the sons. When I say talk with, I don't mean had some extensive conversation. But I remember, without going into the details, he brought I mean, we knew it was his boyfriend, but he brought his boyfriend to an event that I was a part of running. And I remember he said to me, now he did not know me, but I just was there, and he said to me, I'm about to bring my friend, he referred to him as his friend, this is the darkest skinned son again, in here, and just kind of watch over him, make sure nobody bothers him, and da da da. And I said, oh, okay, I will. And yeah, and I tried to, just, and just to be clear, this was a class, it was an event, it was an educational type event, and he brought him there. So, now let me share something else. My mentor told me, and I'll never forget this, I had come to visit the state for business, and we were at Luby's, Luby apostrophe S. We had went to Luby's, which is something down there in Texas, and kind of like a Golden Corral type place. And so I'll never forget, she was telling me that a friend of hers told her that at their home, there was a time when the Jakes lived near what is not White Rock Lake in Dallas. Okay, they had a home. They used to have a home over there. And she told me her friend was part of this group of people that had gone to the house. But I don't know how many sessions they had, but this was a time, as I said earlier, where people kind of saw homosexuality differently, especially in the church. And so they believed that it was an evil spirit and it could be cast out. And so she was telling me that the friend had said that they had had a few sessions at the Jake's home where they were trying to cast the devil out of these 2 boys. And I remember, I'll never forget, she said to me, she said, and they said every time they would get to a point where they thought they were going to cast him out, Jakes would leave the room. Why? I don't know. What he was leaving the room for, I don't know. So yeah.